War jemand, der war so er hat so was Ähnliches gemacht. Aber da war, das war wie so ein Perpetuum mobile.
These are nice too. It's one of those days where I woke up with a migraine, felt super nauseous, couldn't eat anything. Now it's 11 a.m. and I'm absolutely starving. So I'm gonna have some leftovers and some noodles that I found because I'm just in the mood for like something hot and filling and just like gentle on my stomach because I'm just like still feeling a little off. I'm gonna have a little protein though because I know I need it, but also I just need to like take it easy and get through this and get better because it's a terrible feeling. Soup, leftover ribs, boniato, which is like white sweet potato. I don't know. It's a thing. This will be lunch. So Here we have a concoction that I'm sharing because I thought it was interesting, and it's not fabulous, but it is passable, which it's not the highest praise, but I like pudding, and oftentimes I can't eat pudding because of my dairy issues, but I found a recipe where you take like an instant pack of pudding and you mix it with like a Premier Protein, which yes has dairy in it, but it's whey protein as opposed to like full milk, so it doesn't affect me in the same way. I feel like what my issue is casein rather than whey. When I have whey, I'm fine, but when I have whole, like fully formed milk, whatever you want to call it, it's not the lactose. It's not necessarily. It's primarily the casein, I believe, which is a protein in milk that causes my issues. Just through sheer research and like self-analysis, but you got to really mix this up because it ends up a little bit lumpy. At least it did when I made it. I don't know. Maybe I needed to beat it longer, but it looked fine and then it just looked lumpy. But if I beat it up, like stir it up, whip it, whatever, a little bit more, it's fine. So it's vanilla with vanilla protein and actually a little bit of cake batter protein because I ran out of the vanilla halfway through and you need 2 cups. So it looks like that. It looks like hospital vanilla pudding, which is a thing that I actually enjoy. And it tastes like it too. I do find that it's a little too sweet for my palate. I don't love overly sweet things. And there's something about the combination of like the sugar in the Jello plus the like fake sugar in the Premier Protein that is just a little bit past the edge of sweetness for me. But after a couple of like tastes, like my palate adjusts to it. But yeah, if you're looking for like a soft sweet treat with some protein in it, it's pretty decent. Like I said, it's not the best thing you will have tasted, but when you haven't been able to eat real pudding in a very long time, you make do and it's fine. I'm always shocked by how noisy this thing is. Like, sir, why are you so loud? It's been a waste of a day. Let's be real. It's been a rough morning. I am working from home today, but it's really turned into a sick day because let's face it, I've gotten like 2 hours of work done. I've been like in and out of my bed, just like not sleeping, but like laying there, hoping for the pain to go away. And finally, like the pain here is easing. I get this big knot right here when I get migraines, either side. My migraines are definitely tied to my trigeminal nerve, so like all this hurts, like it from here to here, and then into the back. Sometimes here, this time here, sometimes like at the top of my head. Usually it'll be either this side or this side. This time it was the left side, but the pain kind of like radiates into my back. It goes like all the way from here down into that big knot that forms in the back of my neck down into my shoulder. And it's really bad. Sometimes it's fine and I can manage the pain, but this is one of those times where the pain also led to a lot of exhaustion. So I've kind of just been like in a full body fatigue state. So yeah, like I've barely gotten anything done. I feel a little better now. I still have the pain right here behind my eye. So like the occipital nerve is still tender. But I can manage. So I'm going to try to get some stuff done. So I'm going to have some coffee. I took some of my supplements. I took my migraine meds this morning. I don't want to take more of it because I don't want to trigger the scary, like, heart attack like symptoms that I got last time. I did also take some potassium because if you've been watching, I had a weird situation in December where my migraines made me feel like I was dying. And among the many things they found was like, yep, migraine, that's what's in your brain. Was like really extremely low potassium. And I've been having similar symptoms like at least once a month. My primary care doctor has not been concerned. I am, but like, how do you get them to run tests when they don't want to? I mean, I know there are ways. You don't have to tell me. Like, I've been through this many times, but I think she thinks it was just a one-time thing and she was unconcerned. So I need to go back, but I'm dealing with the thyroid stuff first because that was the other thing that was not right with my last lab work. So one thing at a time. The potassium will be dealt with, but because the symptoms are the same, I'm assuming my potassium is low for whatever reason and complicating matters. So I took the potassium and now I will take some coffee and try to get at least a little bit of work done and maybe tidy because everything is just everywhere and it's a mess. I bought fancy syrup as a treat to myself. This one is very nice. It's from Etsy. It's called Yin Yang Syrup Society. And I got English toffee and Bavarian cream. And it's lovely. So we'll have some English toffee. The measuring cup is in the sink. So we're just going to do you old pretend it's like a medicine shot and pop it in there. I don't normally take sweetener in my coffee, but I find the Nespresso pods especially bitter. I've been doing refillable ones, but I haven't cleaned the refills and I can't be bothered right now. We'll also do some coconut milk powder. Because again, the Nespressos are just way too bitter for me. And I say this as a coffee person, like I just find them extremely bitter. But the aluminum pods, there's refill options. And the refill options are actually really good. I need to stir this up a little bit more and it's gonna get noisy. A most excellent froth. Back to the room. Ooh, it's still bitter, but it's better. Still bitter, but better. That works. Look at who I have here. They've been my constant companions all day. They really do tolerate each other on the bed, even though the love affair has not yet happened. I'm gonna catch up on whatever happened email-wise while I was comatose in my bed, which is not much, which is good because I've had enough busy stuff. Don't need it. Don't need it. Yeah, not much happening with all this. Okay, nope, not relevant to me. Very nice. Okay, so not much happened while I was gone. Things are quiet in Teams, things are quiet in email. I do pick my work from home days to be quiet days, like days where I don't have anything really scheduled, because I use these days to catch up on like the busier aspects of work, like the writing aspects and things like that. Uh, Nothing on Discord, so good. All the things that could go wrong have managed to not go wrong. At work, nothing pressing, no demands. So I'm gonna keep doing what I was doing earlier, which is watching and catching up on my Publish and Thrive course. I I do plan to do like a review video later for those of you who have wondered. I had at least a comment about it, but so far I really think it's great. I have no regrets about the cost, which was, it's not as steep as it can be. It is an investment. It's $500 essentially. I've seen courses go for a lot more than that. It's obviously not as expensive as a college class, so there's that. Part of me is tempted to maybe sign up for a business course, either through the local like community college or just, at the place where I work. I work at a university, so I can't get credits if I'm not seeking like actual tuition grade stuff. Like if I'm not like an actually enrolled student, I don't think I can get free tuition. But I'll see if they offer any like community courses online or something like that. Or maybe I'll just look into like our LinkedIn Learning program or something, because we have access to that. So. The reason being to get more into the business side of self-publishing, because I am really energized by the course, and I'm 99.9% sure that's the path I'm going to take. I honestly have not even queried since December, and the last few queries that I've received responses to or queries sent some like more than 6 months ago, if not a year ago, and I get that the industry is slow and just, the struggle is real for people who are agents and this, and I get that and respect it. But at the same time, I'm like kind of tired of basically receiving the same response from everyone that my book is not the right fit or they cannot champion it. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to champion it myself, and it's the right fit for me. Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe it's not like the kind of thing that'll be like an epic bestseller, but my goal is to just get my book into people's hands, like to find the right readership, somebody who just like enjoys it and it has fun with it, which is really all I want to do. So yeah, I'm learning a lot is what I'm saying, and it is also a time commitment. They are lengthy videos. I'm really grateful that she doesn't actually like close the class at the end, because there's a very good chance I won't finish on time. I've been a little behind for the last 2 modules. I'm in module 3. It's shorter, maybe, but like with stuff like today, it really sets me back, and life stuff that came up has also set me back as per usual. Like I realize I would not be a good candidate to go back to school at this stage of my life. Not that I had any intention to, but it's the reality that even being a single person, like I just do not have the time for it. So these are things you learn about yourself. So I'm gonna get to. think this is human error, not us. Let's try it. She disappeared. How do you help someone who isn't going to stick around to be helped? I don't know. Why do they do this? Why do people come on for support and then run away? Why? I need coffee. Well, she's not coming back. No. I'm gonna give her one more minute and then close this transaction. We're gonna close. I am having my second cup and I'm going to do my taxes today and my mom's taxes. So let's go be fiscally responsible. So 1 cup and an hour and a half later, my taxes are done. My mom's taxes are done. My charges are paid. And I also took a little extra time to go through and update my monthly budget, which I will be doing my little video on soon. It might be up by the time this video goes up. It's been okay this month, but definitely not the greatest for not spending. It's been a challenge with Valentine's Day and a few other things and some unexpected like house related costs that came about. So not the best month, not the worst month, still under budget, but there are about 4 days left out of the month. So I will update on that later. I'm so just mad and upset right now. And it's such a stupid thing, but it just feels like just too much. And I'm recording this because life is like this sometimes, and you know, like one of the things about these vlogs is that I want to be real, and like it's not always sunshine and rainbows, and things just haven't been great lately. And this is just such a stupid thing. Like it's such a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but it's just like, you know, sometimes you just feel like everything just keeps like taking a shot at you, and this is just one of those days. And I had a decent day, a good day. I had a good day yesterday. It was Friday. I told myself it would be a good day, and it was. And today was a good morning. And I had just come home, and I ran into my landlord, and he's such a just chaotic, problematic person, and I usually avoid dealing with him because his wife is at least nicer. They're like super privileged rich people essentially, and it's just every time I have to deal with him, he stresses me out. But this time it was just like such a stupid thing because they redid part of the building, they painted whatever. I have plants. My plants are succulents, and I had a very nice larger tree-like plant, and I got rid of it, even though I had grown that plant from like this big, and it was now like 5 feet tall, and it had never been a problem. And I got rid of it because I didn't want anything on the ground. And I had spoken to his wife because she was the one who was dealing with everything, and I had said, can I put my plants in window boxes? Like, I'll take them off. That's fine. I'll take them off the ground if the big deal is they were sealing the roof again, even though I wasn't the one who had caused damage to it. I was like, I'll replace can I keep the plants if I replace them into different types of pots, like window box pots, because they're succulents. They don't need a lot of space. They don't need a lot of water. They had a concern, or she had a concern about water spilling. So I was like, I won't put drain holes in them. I just will, you know, spray them down and keep them not very wet so that they don't get oversaturated. I've done that before, and I knew it would be fine. So I went off and I bought pots that I hadn't budgeted for, and I bought soil that I hadn't budgeted for, and I spent like $60 just buying materials to do this. And I did. And everything was fine for a week. I spent all this time. It took like 2 hours to repot everything. My mom helped me. And today he comes to like clean. And I heard him when he was cleaning. I left to go out and I hadn't run into him. I run into him as I come back, and he starts complaining about how he had spent 3 hours cleaning and this whole mess. And again, it has nothing to do with the plants. It has nothing to do with anything like that any of us have done. It's like debris from the street that flies over here when it's too windy, and that's always been the case. But he's like, well, you're the only person who's not complying. You have to get rid of the plants. And I'm like, I spoke to your wife about this, and he wouldn't let me talk. I was like, fine, but I can't do it right now. Whatever, I'll get rid of them. Obviously, I wasn't rude about it, but I go home and then he knocks like 5 minutes later, and then he's going on about how, oh, because this is, I'm like, look, I got it. Like, I'm not trying to be confrontational. I got it. I spoke to your wife. I did this to comply because she didn't want any liquid spilling from them and no soil and whatever. And then he's like, well, you can keep these, but you have to get rid of these. And he points to like these little tiny pots that were on the bottom, because those were like the little baby saplings that I had separated from the bigger plants. And I put them there so that they could grow, and then I would either move them to a bigger pot or not, or keep them inside or whatever. I don't know. Anyhow, I was like, I will just move them in or give them to my mom. Like, I don't feel like fighting about this. So he, whatever, he goes away. And I'm bringing in the plants, and I see that the reason he was pointing to those particular pots, which are like the baby plants, it's like, what's your deal with the baby? Is because he obviously knocked them down. That's why he took so long to clean, because he knocked them down. And I guess the soil got everywhere, because I see that these plants had just been like shoved back into one of the pots. And I'm like, one, it's just soil. It will just fly away. But also, like, your irrational anger over this is because you're the one who blew a leaf blower at my window. Like, these are sitting on my window. Why are you blowing a leaf blower at somebody's window in the first place? But anyhow, the plants are inside now, and I'm just so pissed off, because it's like, they're succulents. They're not spilling anything. They're not hurting the floor. Like, they're just sitting in a window. Like, for Christ's sake. So it's just, I've lived here for too damn long, and I want to move. And this city is just too expensive. And I shouldn't feel like I can't afford the basics of life. But everybody who lives here is in the same situation. Like, we're here because we've been here long enough that we know we're paying less. So like, him threatening to kick people out, like as he just said about one of my neighbors, like, oh, I told them that they had to get rid of their stuff or I would kick them out. Like, for Christ's sake, like, the number of horrible tenants who have lived here over the years because of their terrible judgment and character has been ridiculous. Like, at least you have people who live here who are decent, and this is like your property, and we're trying to treat it as well as we can. But like, threatening to raise people's rent and whatever because you clearly don't know how to handle your own budget is ridiculous. And that's why it stresses me out all the time, because any conversation with him, it's always about how they owe so much. And it's like, well, yeah, because you're trying to live a luxury lifestyle off of the backs of the people who rent your apartments. So that is a very long rant about just like the larger picture, which is that living in Miami is ridiculously expensive, and nobody should have to feel like this. Like, it shouldn't feel like this when I have a salary that would be considered like well over at the average in most other states, but here it's like poverty wages. It's absolutely absurd. And yeah, like, my plant situation is a metaphor for the larger problem that's going on down here. So these are the ones that he was pointing to particularly. These are the plants, the ones on the window. And this is the one that was clearly knocked over. I just repotted it and put fresh soil in there. But yeah, like half the soil was missing and they were just shoved in there. Like I said, it's such a minor thing, but honestly, like, I feel like after the last month and like all the stuff that's been going on and like stuff that happened with my mom this week, like this was just like just too much. Like this is just like the needle that broke the camel's back or whatever the phrase is, and it's so just disheartening and stressful. I've been doing my best to save and to plan a future, but it just feels sometimes like that's such an impossibility, and I hate it. That's just reality.